Welcome to the program, welcome to the show. I am your host, Mark Goldberg, and this is Mark Vlogs Watches. Before we jump into the sad meat and potatoes of this video today, and it is a sad, sad story, it's sort of a sad day in the watch universe. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and do the quick fist watch check. And here it is. Guys, I'm a dog trainer. Please support me and this channel by buying a copy of my latest book, The Art of Training Your Dog. Hardcover or electronic, you can get it globally. If you're not a dog lover, buy it for someone who is, and subscribe to this channel so we can do this again soon. Throw a like on this video. Now let's get along with the fist watch check. Today, guys, I am wearing the beautiful, large, and manly James Cameron Deep Sea Sea Dweller. Up until yesterday, the biggest, baddest, meanest dive watch made by Rolex. But I can still say the biggest, baddest, meanest watch made by Rolex in stainless steel, because the one bigger than this is made out of titanium. But I digress. We are here to talk about Archieluxury, the pontiff, the one, the only, the man who in some real sense inspired me to begin my own personal Rolex collection, and certainly one of the early adapters of the technology for YouTube, making videos. Oh gosh, Archie's been in the YouTube game since the mid 2000s or thereabouts. So a little background for those of you who don't know him, just in case you're from another planet. Archie is an overweight, balding, upper middle class citizen of Australia from Brisbane, who, due to his e-begging and his connections in the watch universe and the decade of entertainment he has provided to so many of us, managed to acquire a very nice collection of watches ranging from Rolex all the way up through Patek Philippe and JLC. And Archie's got a lot of fans worldwide, and certainly many here in the United States of America. And therefore, Archie arranged himself, or fans of the channel arranged a tour for AC3 to come visit the United States and allow the American watch buying public to kiss his ring. So he traveled all over the US. Now, you would think that Archibald Chesterfield III would have put those watches, multiple Patek Philippe's, several Calatravas, a Patek Philippe World Time, then some Rolex, a Sky Dweller, which was gifted to him, believe it or not. That's a nice gift. And a JLC Grand Date Reverso, among others. You would think that he would have put those watches in the bank vault, which is where most of us YouTubers keep our watches. We don't keep them laying around the house. But no. It's a little unclear whether he had them in his Chubb safe or whether they were just in a glass case. But nonetheless, his famous studio, which is a little outbuilding in the yard where his dad used to run an accounting practice, that little brick building housed a safe. I'll show you a picture of how badly it was trashed and burgled. The safe broken into, and very, 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 in a troubling twist of fate, the way that the safe was attacked was not what you would call a professional job, where the burglars knew precisely where to drill a little hole in order to enter. Guys, I've got 30 years in locks, safe, and security, not just a dog trainer. And so what I know is that professional thieves by each safe model know precisely where the vulnerability of that safe is, and then what they can do is they can drill a hole, introduce a borescope, which is like a long tube with a camera on the end of it, and then they can view the wheel pack in the safe combination lock, and without the combination they can dial that combination until the wheels fall into alignment and the safe will open. That is the way a professional burglar does it. These idiots just basically used a grinder to cut a giant hole in the top of the safe. And what I can tell you is that sort of attack on any reasonable sort of safe is going to take hours. So these were people who were comfortable spending hours on property making a whole lot of noise, you know. So terrible. What does it mean? I don't know. I'm sure Archie, who has released the serial numbers, will tell us more. I'm certain that he'll show us a copy of the police report. For those of you who are saying, well, they had to be insured. Sadly, Arch did not have his watches insured, according to information that he has released. They'll fall under his homeowner's insurance, and you may or may not realize this, but if you've got a collection of jewelry, your homeowner's insurance is going to cover an incredibly tiny fraction of that. So on $200,000 worth of uninsured, just generally insured over homeowner's insurance, you're lucky to collect $5,000. At least that's how it works in the United States. And I don't think it's going to be much different in Brisbane, Australia. So Archie is out a tremendous number of watches. Now, why he kept them at home? You know, it's a mystery, and I'm sure hindsight being 2020, that Paul Pluta, the man who plays AC3, I'm sure he's beating himself up about that. So no need to lump in there. I mean, the poor guy has been devastated, and I think, you know, if you understand watch collecting, you know, we put so much thought, care, and love into these things, but at the same time, they can have immense wealth. And one of the things that value-conscious collectors do is they collect watches which will retain value, so that if we ever need to consolidate, liquidate, get out, you know, we can. And certainly Archie's collection was very liquid in that way, desirable watches. The sad thing is he knows all the serial numbers, he's putting them out. So again, I urge you to go over to the Archieluxury channel, look at the material there, see what these serial numbers are in case you should ever see them come up for sale. You can report them to the authorities. But I mean, as a practical matter, probably after hours of attacking and hacking this safe open, that's another thing that just defies imagination, that burglars are comfortable enough to make a big racket in an empty house for hours. I mean, you're talking 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, I would imagine, to open a safe like that with the method that they did. These are not geniuses, okay? So this $200,000 collection was probably hawked within 3 hours of that safe coming open, and 200 grand was probably turned into a quick 5, you know, or 10 grand. So some unscrupulous buyer is now disseminating these watches. And honestly, there are a lot of people who don't check serial numbers when they make purchases. So I think the likelihood of these watches getting out into the marketplace is fairly high. But Archie will have registered the serial numbers with the police. Sadly, there is no central location in order to register a stolen serial number in order to protect yourself as the buyer. Because here's the reality. If you buy stolen merchandise and you pay good money for it, but it is later discovered that it was stolen and it rightfully belonged to somebody else, you know who's out the money? You are out the money. Possession is not 9/10 of the law in the eyes of the law. So you have to be very, very careful buying a watch. Buy from reputable people who check their serial numbers. You know, if you're in Australia and you stop into a pawn shop and you happen to see a Grand Date Reverso by J.J. Lacoute, I would not purchase that without checking the serial number. In fact, the case back on that was engraved. So, well, it's a very sad day, but I wanted to bring you this news. And, you know, I don't know what to think other than there, but for the grace of God, go any of us. Guys, insure your watches, or at least lock them up in the bank. That's what I do. Yeah, you know, generally speaking, I tell you people, listen to Archie because he knows more than you think. I know he comes off as a buffoon, but that's an act which he does for super chats. He's not that dumb. But in this case, oi, what a giant, terrible loss. Let's talk about it in the comments. I'll be right there with you. Be careful out there. This is Goldberg. Peace out.
Paint the sky your favorite color. Your favorite color. Paint the sky. Paint the sky.
Okay, fellas. Well, here we have the Pepsi and the Sprite lined up together. Hopefully you can get a good look at those colors. On the left of your screen, you see the Pepsi with its deliciously blue top portion of that GMT scale, which theoretically, when that GMT hand is in the red portion, it's daylight hours, and in the top, it's dark hours. When you travel, it's actually a super handy watch because you move the hour hand to change time zones while the watch keeps running. You don't have to hack it. So it's a super travel watch. And then that GMT hand just reflects your home time. There are other ways to use the GMT, but that's how I use it. So look, guys, I know that this is weird. We're looking now at the Sprite. Trust me, I get it. It's weird. But look at just the color of the bezel. The oddity of the thing. It's so worth having. A little hard to get used to.